Namaste, Jai Bharat. How do you know things, or what are the sources of knowledge? Is an epistemological question. How do you know things? Or, in other words, what are the sources through which we know? And it's in general, most epistemological positions would say that we have four sources of knowledge: perception, inference, analogy, and verbal testimony. These are the commonly accepted four sources of knowledge. Some, of course, especially the empiricists or materialists, some of them would want to accept only one other source of knowledge, which is perception. And some in Bharatiya philosophy would say that there are five sources of knowledge. They also add yogaja or yogic perception as a source of knowledge. Of course, it makes a lot of sense when someone is adding yogic perception or yogaj as another source of knowledge, because we have evidences of such knowledge obtained both in textual form and also in three-dimensional forms as carved in solid granite. So that's a different point. But perception, of course, is generally accepted by all is as one source of knowledge, though some would say it's not infallible, but they accept perception as one source, and in general they accept four sources of knowledge. Now, I'm trying to speak of something entirely different. Perception, of course, is a source of knowledge, but for some people, perception becomes selective. That's a modern phenomenon. I don't say it's exclusively a modern phenomenon. That must have been the case always. So, right from the beginning of human civilizations, people are there, not everyone, but there are always people who would go for selective perceptions. Now, here things become very interesting, shameful at the same time. That you want to see what you wish to see. You want to hear what you wish to hear. You don't want to see, or you will not see, what you don't wish to see. You don't want to hear something that you don't wish to hear. Many times that you don't want to see or hear something you don't wish is convenient. But you can't rule out the possibility of convenience becoming the criteria. When convenience becomes the criteria, then of course things gets complicated. You are then really not being epistemological. You're going far away from knowing the truth. The objective of epistemology or the exercise within epistemology is to know the reality, know the truth, know the facts, know the actuality, etc. But in selective reactions, selective perceptions, then nothing of this sort works out. It should be just because I wished things to be understood in this manner, so I accept it. I wish to see only these things, so I accept it. We have a concept of doshega katva in Sanskrit. Somebody wants to perceive fault, can really perceive fault with anyone, because he's bent upon perceiving faults. So he can find out fault with anyone or anything. There's no harm. It's not a major job. It is a rather simple thing to find out fault with things, people, phenomenon, whatever. So this selective perception happens with people both knowingly and also inadvertently. That unknowingly, inadvertently, when it happens, that really complicates things. You want things to be this way, so you perceive it that way. Involuntarily, inadvertently, unknowingly, then the whole reality in your mind becomes different. Sometimes drastically and sometimes diagonally different from what reality really is. So the selective, it becomes selective perception. Now look at the phenomenal world. Look at the world. One already has certain sets of ideas in his mind. He has many frames of mind within his mind. Frames of mind of religion, frames of mind of whatever, frames of mind of language, frames of mind of whatever. So whatever is suiting the frame of your mind, you accept. Others you reject conveniently or unaccept. So the frame of mind is already set. Then you react accordingly. Then you perceive accordingly, which is called a selective perception. When something you like is being done, you appreciate it. When something which is right, but you don't like it at the time, is getting done, you oppose it. Now you look around your world, you will find only these things. You find these things in abundance. Like it appears that everyone is like that. You really have to look for exceptions. And those exceptions are unnecessarily hidden. You will not know about them. They are there, but they are not popular. They don't come out in limelight. People don't know them. So this is called selective perception. Actually very funny. But it's there with us. You have to live with that. Very suffocating many times. When you're honest to yourself, it's very suffocating. And that's another disease, I'll tell you, that you're honest to yourself is a kind of disease. You suffer from that. You get suffocated. But you have to be facing it. No way. So selective perceptions, you are among selective perceptions. And you are among selective reactions and selective things which are around you. You have to learn to be with them, live with them. But of course you can afford to be, or you can choose to be not like them. We will meet again with something else. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Sri Ram.